So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Samsung Galaxy Note 8 now. So we are in 2020. This phone launched September 15, 2017. So if you're doing the math, it's not quite 3 years old, but it's entering into its third year. Now, the reason I wanted to cover this one is because I had it planned after that S8 Now video I did just a little bit ago. And let's just see if this phone is worth it. You should go ahead and check out kind of the price points of this phone. If we go to Note 8, you're going to see here on Amazon that you can find a Note 8 around $300 or so, but on Swappa and other places like that, you can probably find this a lot cheaper now, as it is a little bit older in 2020. So let's discuss how this phone does perform in terms of the body and kind of the design now. Now, this phone weighs in at 195 grams, so it's not quite a light phone. And a complaint I had when I was reviewing this before was just how tall this phone was at the time. But now, considering that the Note 10 Plus is on the market, this phone is actually not quite as tall as that device. So it's a manageable size here at 6.3 inches. Now, you can see that there's a Bixby button there, which you don't really see on the newer phone. It just kind of combines the power button. If you want Bixby, you can use it. Volume rocky here, pretty thin here on the sides. Now, if I go off to this side, you can see that the phone is pretty thin here as well, sitting in at just 8.6 millimeters, but it's not the thinnest phone on the market here. At the bottom, we do have a USB-C, our speaker grill, and a headphone jack, which is pretty nice here for Note 8 still. And on the back, one thing a lot of people didn't like about this device was just the fingerprint sensor up here. You do have your dual camera, and right now, I don't think the back looks the best, especially up here. And overall, what I can just say about the Note 8 now is that it's just really a tall, slim, and pretty big phone here with a beautiful display on it. It's still fantastic, and nobody's really missing anything in 2020 when it comes to the display. The Note 8 is strong display. I would say it's up there with any of the latest flagships. It might not be as bright, it might not be as color accurate, but really, who thinks about that stuff? This phone is a fantastic display here, even entering into 2020. Okay, so talking a little bit more about the display on the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 now, I don't think anybody's gonna be pissed off about the brightness. It's pretty good here for the Galaxy Note 8. If I go into settings and I go to the display, we also have various modes as you have with a lot of other Samsung devices. And so if we take a look here, you can see we do have the AMOLED Cinema mode, the AMOLED Photo, and the basic mode. Let's turn off the blue light filter, and you can see there's just many to go through here. And honestly, what I really like about the Galaxy Note 8's display is that it's just very saturated. So it's got this very colorful look. Some of the newer phones even kind of look a little bit too dull in comparison, especially if you just leave it on the basic modes. So not only that within display, but you also do have other things like adaptive brightness, a blue light filter, which you can schedule. Mode is here with the One UI. You can change our screen resolution down to 1080 or 1440. So lots of customization. Not all phones have this. Even now, even if you bought a new phone like a Pixel, for example, will not allow you to change that resolution. Now, we do have the navigation bar settings or full screen gestures on this phone. Also, when watching video, you can see that it looks very good. There's no notches, there's nothing like that to speak of. Samsung does always take advantage of their screen sizes. You can go ahead and see that this is a Google feature where you can just have the video playing in the background. But if you don't want to do that, you can take advantage of Samsung's own type of pop-up view. So if we go over here, we can do a pop-up view, and then you could really interact with the video here while doing other things in the background, like going to your clock, for example, setting an alarm while you're watching a video before bed. So you can see there's tons to do here for Galaxy Note 8. Also, you can split the screen on here, so you do have split screen, and I think it's plenty of enough display space to multitask here for the Galaxy Note 8. So now I should also mention that the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 definitely has some good software, but it's not going to be updated to Android 10 as of right now. So if we go to software update, you can see download install. Now keep in mind, on the Note 9, which is not that much more than this, you might want to get that one. You can get Android 10, which I already have on that phone. December 1st security patch. However, this will still be getting the security patches on it. So in software information, you could see you're on the 1.0 version, and 2.0 is just a little bit of a refinement. It's not a huge difference over 1.0. So you can still enjoy the Samsung experience here, even on Android 9 Pie. Okay, now keep in mind that this is running the Snapdragon 835, which was a flagship processor of the time. However, one of the problems with the Galaxy Note 8 was the 6 gigs of RAM. It didn't seem to be enough for me in terms of, having this phone lag up a bit from time to time. So yes, if you're overloading this with a lot of software, lots of files, this will stutter from time to time in the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, but its general performance is still at a flagship level, I would say. However, I do recommend, if you are going to buy this phone, to go ahead and watch my beast mode video on this. It will show you how to get it even faster, like reducing your animations, or even, changing the developer options to make the animations a little bit snappier, as it can be a little bit slow in the default settings here for the Galaxy Note 8. So yeah, the performance I would say is good. It's just not great anymore. The 10 nanometer CPU in here is not quite as beast as like the 855, of course, or even the 845, which I think was a nice jump on the Note 9 in performance over this phone, especially with its 8 gigs of RAM. The Note 9 seriously outperforms the Note 8, but the Note 8 is still generally a good performer. So when talking about the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, we're coming with base storage of 64 gigs. Now that could run out kind of fast depending on what type of user you are, but you can get yourself one of these guys right here, a 256 gig Evo card, or even an extra 64, an extra 32, an extra 128, whatever you want to throw in here, and you'll never run out of storage. So it's not really a problem on here. You can also use cloud services and stuff like that. And considering that brand new iPhones are still launching with 64 gigs, there's really nothing to complain about when it comes to storage on the Note 8. Okay guys, so when taking photos here on the Galaxy Note 8, we're talking about a dual 12 megapixel camera, and it does have OIS on both lenses, which is important for when taking video, which was pretty stable for the Galaxy Note 8. Also, live focus, where you can blur the background, although it's not the best, as it does have some blurring problems when, it does take those photos. So portrait modes have been greatly improved on newer phones, but you have food modes. One issue with the Galaxy Note 8 is the lack of a night mode. However, you can just use the Google camera and get some pretty good night results even on this stock, third-party Google camera. Video quality overall here on the Galaxy Note 8 is pretty good. The front-facing cameras is also pretty darn good as well, but they are a little bit blurry by comparison to some other phones on the market, so they're not the best. The Galaxy Note 8, if you were to buy it right now, I think has an acceptable camera, especially considering the really cheap price points you're going to get for it. It's definitely acceptable here in 2020. Okay guys, so taking a look at some samples I did take with the Galaxy Note 8, you can see the detail is there when you have light. It's really not a problem. However, some phones are a little bit sharper. There's a little bit of softness going on here with the Galaxy Note 8, but some people like that softer look. You can see here's a nighttime photo with pretty good lighting. If you have street lights, stuff like that, you don't need to worry about the night mode not being on this phone. But if you're in a really dark lit situation, it could be helpful. Now here's a picture of a picture frame with a flower on it, and you can see pretty good detail overall. So I think the person trying to get a deal on a Galaxy Note 8, which is probably likely who you are if you're buying one now in 2020, you're not going to be disappointed. I mean, I started out doing a lot of videos on the Galaxy Note 5 when the Note 5 was already a couple years old, and it served me well. And I feel like this is a similar case here. If you do get a Samsung Galaxy Note 8 now, because this is all you can get at the moment, it should serve you well for a year or two on this phone until you can get something a little bit newer if you do want to be on the Note series with the S Pen. Now, one of the drawbacks of the Note 8 has always been that lack of dual speakers on here, that single speaker, because other phones had this at the time, but it does have a headphone jack, and that speaker it's okay. It's not too tinny or anything like that. The higher volumes, it doesn't sound great, but still, I mean, the audio setup, this is not the perfect audio phone. You still have Bluetooth on here, which is going to be just fine for Bluetooth headphones. And you have headphone jack headphones on here you can use. So I don't have an issue with the internal audio stuff. I just have an issue with the external audio on this phone. But considering what you're going to pay for this, if you don't want to go up a couple $100 to get that Note 9, I think you'll be able to live with this. If you're looking for a great audio phone on the low, this is one I would skip out. Okay, I know. The Galaxy Note 9 was all about the battery life. The Note 8 was all about not the battery life, but you gotta remember this phone was the first Note after the Note 7 issues, which, we all know what that is about. But How has it been, with the One UI? Well, I gotta say that it's been pretty good. However, what I want to mention is that if we go over here to the power modes, I find that anytime with the Samsung phone here, if I am struggling to get through the day, if I drop it down to medium power saving, maximum power saving, lower the brightness, and just turn on the 720p panel, I can get through the day. Now, I want to talk about the phone call quality for the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 because it's been stellar. This was one of my favorite phones I've ever used in this area because I didn't have really any drop calls throughout my usage with this phone. Not many whatsoever. And going into 2020, that's promising considering that this phone is rather old. Still having a great phone call experience is definitely good. And that brings me on to my conclusion of the Samsung Note 8. As great as it is, having all these S Pen features, having beautiful hardware here, the software is what really holds this back, as well as the resale value on the Note 8. It just is not there. So this is great hardware. It was when it came out, and this video isn't targeted at people who already have this phone. It's about people who are going to buy this phone. As tough, as beautiful as it is, I just really cannot recommend you buy the Note 8 right now if you care at all about getting money back or you care at all about, your software. But if you're somebody who's just looking to get in the Samsung experience, you don't care about that resale value, you're gonna keep the phone, you want beautiful hardware, you don't wanna pay not even $300-400 for a Note 9, you wanna go $150, $200 and find a Note 8 on an extremely low deal, I think you'll love the hardware. Got any questions, comments, concerns? Drop them down below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and let me know what else you want to see going forward here as we continue on in 2020. I will catch you all in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to be well, and peace.